that are appropriate. It is entirely within this board's determination and discretion whether this is that kind of a case. The last thing I simply want to address is I'm a little stunned by the suggestion that Dr. Zaidi has not complied with the PACE program. The email is before the board. The agreement was when the writ is rejected or there is a decision after remand. Here, we had a hybrid, which may not have been anticipated by counsel, which is that the writ was granted in part and it was denied in part. And the whole purpose now is for the board to reconsider what the appropriate penalty should be, and that is why it is appropriate for him to wait until after the remand. The writ was granted in part, and it's come back for remand. And for that reason, it's appropriate for Dr. Zaidi to await this board's decision. He has done every single thing, and then much more than what the board ordered. The additional CME that he has done is about twice what he was required to do under the board's order. He has complied with every condition, and he has done so in an open and honest and thoughtful way, as is reflected by the declaration of Dr. Greenberg. And so for those reasons, I feel very strongly that this is a case that is appropriate for you to issue a public reprimand, but to require Dr. Zaidi to do one of the PACE courses that was recommended or ordered in the original order, and that is the PACE course that relates to physician and patient boundaries.
Sorry, physician and patient?
Boundaries.
Boundaries. Thank you.
Thank you.
And your time's up. Thank you so much. And back to the deputy for 5 minutes.
Okay. The board also needs to deny respondent's motion for a further hearing. He's asked in his papers that this go back to the ALJ to hear a variety of issues, and that is beyond the scope of the Superior Court remand order. The Superior Court remand order says this has come back here merely to reconsider penalty on the existing record. And so the board needs to be very clear that's all they're going to do. We're not going to go back and do new hearing time. And so again, we need to strike declarations D and E and parts of B and C and determine this on the record. All of the conditions that are in the ALJ's original decision should remain in effect, and probation should be the imposed penalty. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Did the board have any questions? Yes, I see we have one. Would you identify yourself for the record?
Howard Krause. Does Dr. Zaidi wish to address the board directly?
Yes, sir.
Can I?
Let me go ahead and swear you in then at this time.
Sure.
If you'll raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. You can begin when you're ready.
Can I sit down?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity again. I was before the panel over a year ago. I believe it was January 2017. My probation started in March of 2017. Many things have happened since then. I wanted to update the panel about that. But first, I want to apologize to these patients. I did that in my first appearance to the board as well, and I want to do that again. These patients, what they've gone through was distressing, was painful when they saw me as their physician, and I'm sorry for that. I want to convey to these patients, their families, and to the board that I have done every possible avenue. I've taken every possible avenue. I've done everything possible to basically, do something about this shortcoming, this problem that I had in terms of how I was interacting with the patients. It could be the CME, it could be the courses, the books, and then certainly for the last year, Dr. Greenberg has been a very helpful source. My therapy has primarily focused on different things that, that can help in making the interaction as a, something that the patient can actually start trusting the physician. It could be the active listening. It could be small things like how you meet and greet the patient. It could be your body language. It could be your eye contact. And certainly I've worked on the skills of empathy and mindfulness. I have been a stay-home dad for the last 3 years, and was a kind of an opportunity to spend more time with my kids. I have 4 kids, and certainly I applied the theory of empathy and mindfulness to them as well while I was interacting with them, and I can tell you that it has created a bond that I've never thought that it could exist. My wife sometimes feels jealous about that. I have been, one more thing that I want to talk about is I've been back and forth to Pakistan because my parents have been sick, and my father was diagnosed with esophageal cancer. My mother had a stroke. This was all happening back and forth. The point I'm making, that was the time that I first felt how does it feel like when you are sitting opposite the doctor. And my father was actually refused by 2 or 3 oncologists initially that they are not going to treat him. And I can tell you that experience was horrible, the feeling of helplessness that comes. And so this was a first-hand experience. I had discussions with Dr. Greenberg about this, and that has actually given me more confidence in terms of the mindfulness, how you basically think what the patient is thinking. I have done everything in terms of making sure that this would never ever happen again. I'm absolutely receptive to whatever decision you guys make. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Did the board have any additional questions? I'm seeing they do not. So at this time, we have completed the argument phase of our matter, and I will close the record at this time. The case will be submitted, and I thank everyone. We will deliberate in closed session, so we'll have everyone clear the room, and we're off the record.